Greetings, Algo artisans. It is Friday, 8:32 a.m. Started a minute or so late. Thank you for being patient. Hope all is well. I've been scalping Forex pairs all morning and earned a few nice steak dinners, but I do have to lay off because Chairman Powell is about to speak. He's about to speak in about 28 minutes. And so now that I'm doing a show, I do not have the bandwidth to scalp and do the show. Just did a nice couple of shorts on USD/JPY. Man, we talked about the Japanese yen pretty extensively over on the Rogue show yesterday. So that was a pretty big deal. All right, well, let's see what we got here. We got Timothy Mick in the comments. Let's go. Yes, sir, let's go. I'm going to go ahead and start with Bitcoin in the charts. So let me go ahead and share that. And if you have any questions, if you have a chart that you want to see, please ask for it. And we'll take a look at that chart if I do have access to it. But here is the Bitcoin chart. As you can see it here, it is doing what I pretty much said it would do yesterday. I figured it would just kind of range about here between, well, I'm going to guess between about 61,000-ish and 68,000-ish, right? I think even as high as like 63K. The price might bounce around here. Now, might only do that for a day. It might not do that, but this is what I think will happen at least for a short time. And it could actually dip a little bit lower to grab liquidity. That's always possible. Might do it now, might do it later, might never do it. But the two scenarios I have are a range in what I just described and, excuse me, and what you see on the screen, or perhaps a jump down and grab liquidity down at that 50, like low 50s, 52, 51,000. TMH42, good morning. So those are the two possibilities that I see going down. And look, if Bitcoin were to range like this for a long period of time, there's a decent chance that the alts might start to actually do better, right? So if Bitcoin pumps up like it has, and it's gone from, in the last 6 months to a year from, 20,000 to 75,000, right? I mean, you're talking about pretty big gains for a pretty big asset, right? Now, doing that, if it begins to find equilibrium way up high, that is an indication that price is going to be even more bullish. Now, Bitcoin tends to move to an area, range for a while, and then move again, just like most assets do. And this would be on a much higher time frame. For example, you had Bitcoin range. It moved from, this is 25,000 back in October, and it moved up to about 45,000, so almost a double. And then it ranged in this area for like several months from what is this, December through January. So it was like a 2-month range. Now, we do have the halving coming up, and there usually is a halving pullback. And like I talked about, we may have already seen that pullback. The pullback so far is about 17%. We'll take another look at that just to be sure. And most of these pullbacks prior to halving are going to be anywhere from 20 to 30%, according to my calculation, right? This is about 17.5%. So we may have seen whatever pullback there is to see. It's possible. Now, if price were to make its way down to the low 50s, you're looking at 30%, which is still within the healthy, or at least, I don't want to say healthy, but within the typical pullback range, right? Now, going below that, if it ever did, which I don't think is likely, but if it did, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It's just be a pullback. Pullbacks are good. Pullbacks are healthy. You want pullbacks. Pullbacks create price structure for the future. So if there is ever a strong, let's just say traditional finance, TradFi had a problem, right? Well, Bitcoin might not go down as far if there have already been pullbacks. It's good to see pullbacks to build structure. And we just really haven't seen too much of a pullback since, this October of 2023. But you know what? It's Bitcoin, and you have a lot of very important groups of people who are buying it. But I would like to see this area get filled. This 50,000 to 60,000 area, I would like to see that get filled. I'd like to see price pullback in there, but I'm not going to worry about what I like. right? I'm not going to trade based on what I like. I'm going to trade based on what the market tells me it wants to do, right? I have a couple of things to look at. I've got price structure, history, I've got my algos. And what I do is I look at all of that data to determine what the market wants to do. And I train myself to want what the market wants rather than what I want, right? Because that's the only way to win. You're not going to go into the ocean and you're not going to like, hey, I wish this wave didn't come, right? Like you're just going to ride the wave or not if you're going to be like a surfer. You don't like, hey, I wish this one wave would come. And then you like wait for that. You'll never surf. Like you just ride the waves that are there. So for now, I think we see this rotation. And if price breaks below this 60,700-ish area, especially if it goes below this 59,000, I think that's like the March low. If it goes below that March low, then we might actually see, breakdown of that 50. Either way, it's all good. And if price does range for a while, I do believe the alts will start to do better. Okay, speaking of alts, let's go over to Ethereum. There has been a little FUD around Ethereum, although I don't think it's a big deal. I think Ethereum is going to be fine. There's been this conversation. I've even done videos to the effect of, is Solana going to take over Ethereum? Things like that. And that's all good and fun, but I think Ethereum is not going anywhere. I believe that enough of the right people like Ethereum to where it's not going anywhere, right? It's got the network effect. Like, for example, Bitcoin. I mean, it's super secure as far as we know. A lot of people still consider it to be the most secure. What's up, March? We're just talking about your baby. We're just talking about Ethereum. But arguably there are better, more secure, faster protocols than Bitcoin. And yet Bitcoin is the king, right? It's a network effect. It's what everybody's been using for a long period of time. It's got a track record of not ever being hacked, as far as we know. So that's called the network effect. Everybody uses it, everybody trusts it, everybody kind of agrees on it. And I believe Ethereum fits in that category. Compared to Solana, there are some issues. Now, Solana has gone down a number of times, but the thing about Solana is that the problems Solana has can be fixed very quickly. We're talking about minutes or hours. Ethereum's issues seem to take months or years to fix, right? Now, there are ZK rollups. Of course, you'd be sacrificing a little bit of security. That's a whole nother conversation. But to keep it really simple, I think Ethereum is going to be fine, at least in the near term, if not the long term. And that's going to be largely due to the network effect. I think for this cycle, Ethereum is going to be fine, this 4-year cycle. That's what I think. Doesn't mean I'm right. And it's not investment advice. Morning, Diane. Diane was just telling me how she's doing great over in Algo Factory. Let's see here. All right, cool. So in fact, I'm going to read Diane's message here, if you don't mind, Diane. It says, Diane said in our private group, said, I have been following you around since 2017, 2018. Rogue Money, Watches Trade, Chart Snipers, and lurking in the background. But things are finally coming together for me these days, putting the work in, back testing, the whole deal. This is a very direct, decisive course put together and just gives me a lot of confidence. Dang, Diane, I'm saving that. I'm literally going to save that right now. That's awesome. And that's the thing, like for those of you who don't know, and we're going to get into Ethereum, so stand by. But I don't usually do the Algo Factory commercial until like later in these morning shows, right? I want to get into the content and give people what they want, and that is what we're going to do. But just so you know, we've been doing this a long time, and the Algo Factory is just the latest iteration of what the Grill and I and some others have been doing over the years. So understand that. But I'm going to actually save this really quick. And let's see, save as. Let's do a new thing. What I'm trying to do is, I'm going to boost my confidence as a teacher. What do you call these things? What do you call those things? Testimonials. Okay, cool. Yeah, Ethereum, I think, is going to be great. And I think there is this FUD around basically like the SEC possibly calling Ethereum a security. Look, V the Gorilla told us that we were not going to see an ETF with Ethereum anytime soon. He said that privately in the private live lab. And this was maybe a few months ago, because of course, the Bitcoin ETF happened. You can see the price action reflected in Ethereum here back in January. And everyone's like, okay, so Ethereum's next, right? And that's probably true. It's probably true. Ethereum's probably the next ETF. There's a good chance of that being the case, but the gorilla told us that months ago, that it's probably not going to happen this year or anytime soon. Now it could happen this year, but from what he's heard, that's the case. And so there are different opinions out there. Oh, it's going to take a while. Oh, it's not going to take a while. Like if you read the news, you'd see all these different opinions. Now there's this FUD saying that the SEC is possibly going to consider Ethereum to be a security. And of course, that being the case, it would fall under a whole new different group of regulations, which would make it just a little less accessible, and so on and so forth, right? It would make it would put a lot more rules around it. Now, do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I know Ethereum's got a lot of the right people who own it. I think it's going to be fine for this cycle. In the meantime, I drew this chart. Let me see. I believe on Monday. So I think this going. I didn't really start this chart back here, but this coming up here and bouncing down, that is something I predicted and has happened. It just happened a little bit more quickly than I thought it would, but that is what I predicted. So you're seeing it play out. Again, this is also relative to what's going on with Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum versus Bitcoin, which is a great way to take a look at, which one is outperforming the other. And I'm almost positive this is going to be on a downslope, almost positive. Yeah. So overall, Ethereum is, Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum. And it's just been on a solid downslope since, what is this, March 7th. So I see no reason for that to change right now. I do think that Ethereum is going to just kind of take a break here. But you know what? If Bitcoin gets super stable around that 60,000 range, actually any of these alts, including Ethereum, actually could go nicely, and FUD or no FUD. So we do have to watch Bitcoin for that. Got some comments here. I've got, let me see. Ethereum is huge, but it's proven itself a shitcoin compared to other faster, cheaper. That's the thing, yeah, Timothy. Ethereum is not as fast or cheap as, say, Solana. And I think it needs an overhaul. I think ZK rollups are going to make a big difference, but right now the hype hasn't really done anything with the price. Cool Cat says, I read the latest ETH upgrade is starting to reduce L2 fees. Okay, that's interesting. If you're referring to Dencun, which I thought would have more of an effect on the price, but then again, you know me, I'm always kind of chill about such things. I hang back. I don't get too hyped up on, oh, this upgrade's going to spike the price is going to do really well. Okay, we'll see how it goes. I did think it would do better for the price of Ethereum, but it did not. So, but I didn't expect it to reduce L2 fees, although I don't know why I didn't expect that, but certainly it does seems to have reduced level 1 fees, right? But that could also be a function of the market. Let's say L1 fees, we're getting down to gas fees around $32, $30. That's pretty low, even for calm times in this cycle. So Dencun may have had an effect, and Dencun was an upgrade that hit, I think, last week. So, but still, $32 gas fees compared to Solana being in the single digit dollars or less. What are you going to do? Speaking of Solana, let's take a look at it. Okay. Solana is currently looking to build a range as I drew. Now this was a predictive range. It's not a range that's established when I drew this yesterday, right? It's just a range I thought would become established over the next several days. So I just drew this thinking that this would be what happens. I'll give some upside targets on Solana. There is liquidity down at the $150 level. So if Bitcoin were to take a fall, then we could expect Solana to possibly at least jump down there, if not briefly, then I think it would be brief. I think Solana is probably just going to continue up, but you never know. Things cool off. Upside targets on Solana, if I were to go long, are 230 and 255 is a great target, because I think the all-time high is 260. If we go back far enough here, all-time high is 260. So 255, if I were to exit, along, 255 would be awesome. If and when Solana breaks 260, of course, we'll now be in price discovery, and you'll probably see a lot of FOMO. Be the gorilla, sir. How are you?
Hello, good morning. Top of the morning to you. Happy Friday.
Well, top of the morning to you. Happy Friday.
Right. I love the crypto coin you sent me. I've bought about 10 trillion of them.
Oh, which one did I send you?
The one that you put on Telegram.
Telegram.
Oh,
you did? The one
no,
from...
No, I didn't buy it, but that's hilarious.
I didn't know which one you're talking about. I did a video on BOEM yesterday. It's actually doing really well on YouTube, and I predicted. Huh?
You're doing a video on what?
BOEM, BOME, Book of Meme. And I predicted a price move, and it literally did that overnight. Love when that happens. We're talking about Solana. Solana's probably going to range, maybe dump down a little bit, and I think it's going to head up to start testing all-time high. And that's going to be correlative with Bitcoin probably. So this could happen sooner, or it could happen like mid-April or May, but I think it's going to happen a lot sooner than that. I don't think Solana is likely to like really consolidate for too long. So far as consolidations, the longest consolidation we had was from December to... I feel like I'm a rapper, and I feel like Diddy is my producer, because like I'll say something and I hear what I said.
He's your abuser.
It's abuser. BOEM, Thugs and Harmony, says Cool Cat. That's funny. But yeah, we had a 2-month consolidation, but that was correlative with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's going to have a lot to do with what goes on. But I do think that Solana is going to test its all-time high, if not before the halving, then pretty soon after. And if I were to go long, I would have to watch the algos on this before I actually took that long, but it may simply look like this. Of course, it may do a bunch of stuff and then look like that, right? So, I'm not saying I would go long immediately, but when the algos say I can, I will, and it would probably look something like this. And I'm just guessing, like, don't take what I'm drawing here for gospel, right? This is just like a throw together example. But this is a reasonable path for Solana, what I just drew. Reasonable path. Doesn't mean it to happen like that. We got a couple requests on. We got SUI.
Special request.
Special. See, there's Diddy again. SUI. Are you getting me back for messing up your flow yesterday?
That wasn't Diddy. I said special request.
Oh, special. Are you dialing from the island?
That's right.
Timothy Mack, are you sure you didn't mean SEI? You mean SUI, right?
SUI is good.
SUI, yeah. And
SEI is also good.
SEI is really good. That's like, I should have bought more SEI.
I bought SDI, and I don't know which wallet I put it in.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious, dude.
Did you buy it because I was talking about it?
Bought a while ago, dude.
Okay, you bought it before I talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think SEI is going to be great. I'm gonna just buy some anyway. I don't know. I need to actually grow my Solana and SEI holdings. I haven't gotten SEI yet. I meant to. SUI is just ranging. It seems to be developing a range. So until it's done ranging, then it's going to range. That's all I got for you on
just ranging with a ranger
on SUI. That's all I got for you on it. And it's a new coin too, so it's going to be hard to talk about what it wants to do. I would look, if it were to break out to the upside, I'd look at targets probably. This requires a breakout, but I look at targets up at 222-ish and 256-ish, maybe a little bit lower than that to front run. I would hope for a pullback so that I could get a decent entry on that long. And of course, I'd require the algos to tell me that I could take that long. But something like that would be ideal if I were simply going to trade it, right? If I were going to hold it, then of course, this is a new coin. I got no data for you. You know what I mean? It's going to go wherever it goes. I don't know anything about SUI to look at the tokenomics and stuff. If there's time in the show today, maybe I'll do that. But this is a nice trade. Of course, you're taking this trade before it gets out of the consolidation. So to take a trade like I just drew, you're risking that Bitcoin isn't going to take a hard fall. you're risking that, like, it's always better to take these trades after the pullout, after the breakout. But hey, man, risk and reward, right? That's a 4.5 to 1 or better, depending on how you do your stops. So, but that's kind of what I would have my eye on for SUI. Arrow, AERO. All right, let's see what this says. Got the whole frog in the throat today, man. Aerodrome, the Thunderdome. All right, so Arrow. I got nothing for you, man. This is just a brand new FOMO coin. You just got range building. Maybe like this, maybe. It kind of seems like what it's doing, but this is a messy FOMO coin. It's a messy coin altogether. Look how illiquid this is. All these wicks. I don't know anything about the coin. I would say if you like the fundamentals, this might be just like buy and hold, because I don't have much beyond this. If if I were trading it, upside targets would be 112, where the players dwell, and 132. All right, cool. So yeah, March loves his Ethereum for sure. Bohm, Thugs and Harmony. We'll take a quick look at Bohm, since I did a whole video on it yesterday. And somebody, I take my videos, I also paste them over on Reddit, and some guy's like, "Oh, that aged well." I'm like, "Oh, nice, dude." And I didn't know what he talked about. That was my indication that my Bohm prediction was successful. Some guy on Reddit. Let's see here. Yeah, so I did call this move to the upside, and it was real simple. Let me go down to a lower time frame to make this more like, palatable. All right, so I had just done a Fibonacci extension on this most recent move, and I had targets and now I'm assuming that I had targets. One of them got met at about roughly like 1.5 cents, and it was like 50-cent increments. Like, no, this is not that coin. 1.5 and 1.7 cents. That would have been the proper target. But to look at the structure of Bohm, you're looking at about 2 cents and then 2.5, right? So you're just kind of going by like half-cent increments, basically. But this move up didn't quite make it to the 618. It got truncated, probably by who knows what, market sell-off, Bitcoin doing its thing. Those are all the different reasons why these coins can take their hit. But right now, I would expect Bohm to grab liquidity. Oops, let me erase that. I'd expect it to grab liquidity in this area. I'll probably review Bohm again later today, since it does seem to be what people want to see. So pay attention to whatever YouTube video I put out later today will probably be on this. So just keep your eyes out for that. And by the way, if you're watching this, like it, do all that stuff. Yeah, I expect Bohm to grab somewhere between 1.4 and 1.3 cents before it does anything else. It looks like it wants to get liquidity. So TMH42 says, "Wow, narrow." I never heard of this. I'm assuming you mean Monero.
Wow, narrow.
Yeah, I think you might just mean Monero, because I don't see anything called Wow Narrow. Look, Monero is not something that I'm into trading. Okay, so Monero has always been kind of illiquid. I don't think a lot of people are trading it. I think a lot of people are holding it. I don't know how much you want to talk about Monero V, but what's your opinion to the degree that you're willing to talk about Monero?
Monero is vital. I think it's the real one true crypto coin. When you look at the nature of crypto when Bitcoin was started, the aspect that whoever Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever he or they was, I don't know if I'm using the proper pronoun. But I mean, if it was a group or an organization, they kind of missed it. Monero fills that gap in the terms of the fungibility and the privacy aspect of it. So there's a lot of great developments in Monero. There are billionaires who are involved in Monero. I love Monero. It is the one true crypto.
I'm going to start taking profits and funneling it into Monero. As of now, though, it's actually like kind of convenient. It's just ranging.
Yep.
Actually, I would drop this range a bit because it does seem to be kind of grabbing the bottom a little bit deeper here. I mean, I would say your bargain prices are right now are going to be around $125, but you see Monero does its own thing. I want to look at a higher time frame. We'll look at trading views calculation. Yeah, see, Monero, it does follow Bitcoin, right? But at the same time, this particular cycle, it really is not following Bitcoin very well. So let's overlay Bitcoin on this. It seems as if it's actually suppressed. And in a way, that might be a good thing. So you look at these prior Bitcoin halvings, right? Like back in 2017, Monero went up with it. In 2021, Monero went up with Bitcoin. But look at Monero now. It's actually, if you ask me, this is a bargain. If you ask me, like both of the prior halvings, Monero spiked with Bitcoin. But you know what they did? They delisted Monero from a bunch of major exchanges.
Yeah, because exactly. And that's
so,
the reason why you should get it.
That's like the you said it.
They fear it.
And you said it right there. It's like we always say in the alt media, like if you're getting a lot of flack, it means you're over the target, right? Like,
yep.
So I would say that that's actually not a bad idea. We don't give investment advice around here, so you got to make your own decision, do your own research. But I'm actually going to start funneling profits, at least a small percentage of them, into Monero because I do think it's the real Bitcoin. Yeah, Gorilla Sir, we are at the end of the show. Looks like we got a fair amount of people watching, so thank you all for joining us today. Do a like, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And Gorilla Sir, please get us out of here.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, thank you all for listening in. Don't sit on the sidelines wondering if this is for you. Join us, take profit, make profit this year for yourself as the world continues to spin in chaos. We are the quiet in the storm. With that being said, Cowboy, let's get into the private lab.
Join us or die. Join us or die.